Hello, thrifty music collectors, those of you or VC, VK, and especially those of you in the face group Thrifty Music Collectors. Welcome to the Music Cell. I'm Tim. It's Monday, and so this is another episode of Tim's Thrifty Music. And I should also welcome everybody watching this video on YouTube. Let me adjust this. I know it looks a little cluttered behind me on my shelves. I also, in my small space, I also store some other stuff like my cleaning stuff on my shelves with my vinyl, like my cleaning cloths. I was going to say, in some of my last 2 or 3 videos, I've had people saying in comments that I show a lot of this around everything I've shown on them. I showed them in the Facebook groups. Well, this past week, I didn't show everything that I've listened to in the Facebook groups. And the way I did that, I wrote a simple program where it will it tells me, okay, there's 3 different Facebook groups I'll post pictures of what I'm spinning in them. This program I wrote will tell me how many of the groups to show it in, 0, 1, 2, or 3, and which groups to show it in. Well, there are several times where it has told me to show it in 0 groups, or like only 1 group and stuff. And not everybody that watches my videos are in all the groups or frequent them as often. So that way, there's many of you who haven't seen all of these, me show a lot of these that I'm going to be showing in this video now, and I'm going to keep up doing it that way. So with that said, I'm going to start showing you these music I've been listening to this past week. It's more than I did week before in the last video. So with that said, here I go. Again, it's all vinyl. Hopefully, a week from now, hopefully next week I'll be able to start showing cassettes because this is finals week with my classes. So, well, here I go with the first one to start off. It's Bonnie Tyler, Faster Than the Speed of Light. It's from 1983. If I remember right, it's on Columbia. I know it says CBS on here. Usually it's Columbia. It doesn't show. Yeah, it's Columbia. Yeah. See, this was was produced by Jim Steinman. He's also wrote some of the music on here. He's the one that wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart. See, I've always liked his songwriting. He's the one that wrote all the music for both of Meatloaf's wrote the music for Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell albums. If you didn't know, he also had a solo album of his own that didn't sell as well. I have that also. I just wish I had the EP for his solo album. I used to have it before I went into the Air Force, but after I went into the Air Force, I couldn't take my albums with me, and my parents got divorced, my mom got remarried, and the guy she had remarried, his kids had pretty much destroyed the albums and stuff. And So I had found another copy of his album at a used record store, and of course the EP wasn't with it. But getting back to this album, it has to have the song "Total Eclipse of the Heart" on it. She also does a cover of "Have You Ever Seen the Ring" on it. You know, the CCR album on it, and it also a cover of "Going Through the Motions." And she also does a cover of the Bryan Adams song "Straight from the Heart" on here. And here's another Bonnie Tyler album. It's Secret Dreams and Forbidden Fire. This is from 1986 on Columbia. This was also produced and directed by Jim Steinman, and the background vocals on here are by Todd Rundgren. And she does cover of Band of Gold on here, and on this one she has a song that she does on this, also does on the soundtrack for Footloose, "Holding Out for a Hero." Okay, here's Tommy Two Tone. I think this is, if I remember it, their debut album, or his debut album, whichever. Yeah, their debut album. This is on Columbia also. It's from 1980. Okay, I can't remember the year. I think this is 67, or that this the year of this is that on White Whale. This is the Turtles' Golden Hits. Of course, this has their hits like "You Baby" and of course "It Ain't Me, Babe" and "Happy Together." Of course, it has to have "Happy Together" on it. Okay. Tina Turner, "Private Dancer." This is on Capitol. And shoot, I'm not seeing the year for this one on it. That's a thing. Capitol makes all their writing so small on these. I wish they wouldn't have made it so small. Just trying to find a year on here. Well, I know it's from the 80s. Suffice to say that. But it has a lot of hits on here. Like "What's Love Got to Do with It?" "I Can't Stand the Rain." "Better Be Good to Me." And "Private Dancer." And "Let's Stay Together." Next up is the Tubes Trash, which stands for Tubes Rarities and Smash Hits. It's on A&M from 1981. And after listening to this one, if you ever listen to this one, the one song that they do on here, when you hear the original, you just can't listen to the original of it in the same way, which is the song "Love Will Keep Us Together." They do that on here, and you just break out laughing when you think of it compared to the Captain and Tennille version of it. Okay, some Tanya Tucker, "Tear Me Apart." This is an album that I was given by a friend of my daughter's when she decided to get rid of her vinyl all her vinyl. This is on MCA from 1979. And And this one, she does a cover of San Francisco. Be sure to have some flowers in your hair. You know, was that Scott McKenzie solo? I'm thinking. Around there, if I remember right. But she does that along with I Left My Heart in San Francisco. It's a pretty good cover anyway. Yeah, and another one from her, Tanya Tucker TNT. And on here, she does some good covers on here. Like she does the cover of Not Fade Away, and Heartbreak Hotel. And yeah, you can hear back cat crying in the background, maybe. Next one up, okay, one that was porn by some lady that was a porn star. Her Try at Disco. It's an Andrea True connection. More. Of course, it has her hit more on it. Of course, you notice she's pretty well covered up on here, even on the back. This is GRT from or actually Buddha Records from 1976. And I've had seen something or read something where it was actually mainly Andrea True, and they decided to add the Andrea True connection to make it sound like it was more than just her. Next up, pretty much a classic. It's Robin Trower, Bridge of Sighs. It's on Chrysalis, and if I remember right, is it 74 that it's from? Yeah, 74. The cover's pretty beat up on here. It's the Green Buddha label on here, on this one. Okay, this one is one I gotten, and I can't remember how I got it. It's Tropia, that Short Trip to Space. It's mainly John Tropia with other musicians. It's pretty much jazz. It's from the 70s. It's from 77 on Marlin. It's okay. Yeah, this is the first time I listened to it. Just that there's quite a few skips on side one of it, and like I said, I'm going through all my vinyl. I'm listening through all of it, and seeing what to get rid of. This is one I'll be getting rid of. It's going into trash because of all the skips on the side one. Side two played pretty good. Side one, though, quite a few skips on it, so it's a good candidate for the trash. So that one, goodbye. Next one up, this is Canadian rock band from, what year was it? It's from, with the colors of that they used on it, so let's see on this side. Okay, it's 78 on MCA. The band is Trooper. The name of the album is Thick as Thieves. I hadn't really heard them when I bought the album. The thing that got me to buy it, I got it at a thrift store. It was like 50 cents or less, like at a Salvation Army. The thing that got me to buy it was looking at the credits on it. I noticed produced by Randy Bachman, or Bachman, however you want to pronounce it. Of course, Bachman Turner Overdrive. And when I played it, The last song and last song on the second side, I recognized immediately. The song "Raise a Little Hill" is on this album. But this is a really good album. I'm really impressed with it. It's among my top 5 blind buy albums. And like I said, it's on MCA from '78. Next up is Trout For It. Illusions on a double tempo. It's on Harvest. It's from let me make sure that that's a 73 on the back here, and why don't you check on the label? I thought it's on from 74 on Harvest. Not sure whether this is might be considered to be prog. I'm not really sure whether it's progressive or how you'd classify this one. It might be considered to be. I'll consider it prog. It's using a lot, using Hammond organ, Moog synthesizer or Moog synthesizer, using a lot of keyboards and percussion and stuff. I had heard them before on a radio station when I was a teenager. This was back in the 70s. And it's, if I remember right, they're German, the names are German names. Oh yeah, it's German. It was recorded in Cologne. But it is a very good album. If you haven't heard of them or haven't, I'd say check them out. They probably have. There's probably stuff by them on YouTube. I'd say check them out. Trout For It. It's spelled TRIUMVIRAT. I think you'd be impressed by their music because they're prog, but they have a rock sound to them also with that. Now back to Canadian rock band. Of course, my favorite 3-man Canadian rock band. That's Triumph. This album is Surveillance. This one's on MCA from 1987. I don't think there were really any hits off this one. I'm trying to remember I think this might have. Can't remember whether Rick Emmett was on any albums after this one by them. I know they had one or two after this one, but I can't remember whether Rick Emmett was on them because there was some differences between him and Gail. Between him and Gail Moore on here, the drummer on here, but I really like Rick Emmett. He's an awesome guitar player. And here's another Triumph album. This is The Sport of Kings. This is also an MCA from 1986. This one has a hit, Somebody's Out There on it. I do like this one. And yes, Rick's on here. And if you I know you can there's a video for somebody's out there, I think you can find it on YouTube. It's a real good video, and I think you'd like that song. Okay, next up is Diana Trask. She was a country artist. This is on Dot Records. If I remember right, it's from like 72, something like that. And the name of the album is Sings About Loving. And so, like, she does a cover of like Stand By Your Man on here. But like I said, she's a country artist. It's from like 72. Next up is Pete Townsend. And it's all the best cowboys have Chinese eyes. This is one that has slit skirts on it. It's on Echo Records from 1982. It's a good album by Pete Townsend. Of course, I like a lot of his solo stuff. And of course, speaking of Pete Townsend, here's another one of his albums, Empty Glass, also on Echo from 1980. Of course, this has Seraph Boys and Let My Love Open the Door on it. I really like the song Let My Love Open the Door. Next up, here's one that I didn't show. One of those examples where I didn't show on any show anywhere on Facebook. That's Tower of Power. This group's known for their horn section, which they do backups for a lot of groups on their albums. But this album alone is a good standout album. And just like I really like the song What a Sip off this one. This one I remember real good from when I went into the Air Force. This is Total 4. I went into the Air Force in 1982. I went in March of 1982. Okay. Right around the time that this album came out. Okay, I was in tech school from May in Biloxi, Mississippi, from May till September. I was in Biloxi, Mississippi. Well, I bought a boombox and I got this on cassette tape, and among several other cassettes, and I'd take the boombox and the cassettes, go down to the beach with that, and that's one of the tapes I'd listen to while down at the beach. I remember that good. And of course, this is on Columbia, like I said, 1982. And here's Total's first album. It's also on Columbia from 1978. Oh, also on that in Total 4, it has like Rosanna, Make Believe, I Won't Hold Back, and Africa on it. And of course, the first one, it has I'll Supply the Love and Hold the Line on it. It's from 78 on Columbia. and I've always liked the first one. It's always been my favorite Toto album. Okay, this one here, if I'm trying to remember, this might be one I got from Mark Dr. Deadwags. I'm trying to remember because he sent me a box full of country albums back just before Christmas. This is Mel Tillis, the very best of Mel Tillis. And this is on it from 1981 on MCA. This is this has like Coca-Cola Cowboy on here, and Send Me Down to Tucson. Of course, both those were in shoot, and I have the soundtrack to it. Every Which Way But Loose. And that's more the time period I remember for his music. And this mainly has music from 76 through 81 on it. And then I think this other one was also in with it. It's Mel Tillis' 24 Greatest Hits. This is from like 70s, 7 or something like that. Just that this is on MGM. Just that this is older stuff of his. It's Mel Tillis and the Statesiders. It's earlier stuff of his. Never really heard any of this stuff, and it's real interesting listening to it. And for those of you who don't know, Mel Tillis had a very profound stutter when he talked, and yet whenever he sang, you could never tell he stuttered when he'd sing. He sang excellent, but when he talked, he had trouble talking without stuttering. Okay. Next up is Glenn Yarbrough, Live at the Hungry I. I picked this up at a Salvation Army that I hadn't been to for a while. It was just the other day. Got it for 35 cents. I think this was like from, I think it was like 66 or something like that, or I can't remember the year now, 65, 66. He was pretty much a folk singer. This was recorded at the Hungry I in San Francisco. Well, what I thought was interesting on this one, I noticed that after I brought it home, on the back, I noticed this down here on it. That I'll bring it up close. Don't know if you can really tell by looking at the camera. With this in the camera, the strip right here, it's a Braille strip. I thought that was interesting. So must have been somebody blind that had this album, so they had a Braille strip to identify the album for them on there. But I got it for 35 cents, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, I enjoy folk music, so like the 60s and 70s, some 50s folk music also. I enjoy 50s folk music also, so. And at the same time, I, for the same price, I found another one to add to my German music collection. Yes, I collect German music too when I can find it. Found this one. It's from around 55. It's by Johannes Heesters. It's Ich küsse Ihre Hand, Madame. It's translates I kiss your hand, madame. It's just full of German music. I just enjoyed listening to it. Like I said, it's going in with my German music collection. Yes, I have my German collection slowly growing. People have given me some German music along with I've found several. I can usually find it for a pretty good price. And then we've got one more for the same price. I pretty much heard about this group by on a early video by Final Rewind. And I figured I'd get for 35 cents. I figured I'd just get this to check it out. It is interesting listening to. It's Jerry Mirage, Harmonicats, and the album is Greatest Love Songs from the Movies. This is from 1966 on Harmony Records, which is part of Columbia. And they just does songs from various movies on here, and it's all done on harmonicas. I have several guys on harmonicas, so it is just interesting. They do a decent job doing them too, so it's just interesting hearing them do that. Next up is an album from the 80s. Yes, I do have stuff from the 80s. My collection's mainly 60s through the 80s. I do have some 50s, very few 90s, and well, there's not much vinyl from the 90s anyway. Well, it's mainly 60s through the 80s. It's this one is Tiffany. It's from 1987 on MCA Records, of course. That should have been me, and I saw him standing there, and I think we're alone now. And could have been, of course, everybody. And of course, I know everybody's heard the word Elf parody. I think I'm a clone now. And then I know yesterday that I posted on Facebook that I was in the mood for Three Dog Night. I didn't post all of these on Facebook that I'm going to be showing now. I posted some of them, but not all of them. I was playing them until my back really started acting up, where I had to stop and I had to lie down. So here we go. Starting off, I couldn't find the year of this one. It's a German pressing. This is Three Dog Night. Original favorites. I got this when I was stationed over in Germany. It has a lot of their hits on it. It's on MCA Records. And like I said, it has a lot of their hits on it. So it's a German pressing on MCA. Next up, this one that was that's called Three Dog Night. Their greatest recordings. And I'll show you. You can see this at the top here. It says this album compiled exclusively for military personnel. I got this when I was in the Air Force. It was from 1978 on Addie's Records. I did not go into the Air Force until 82. This was from 78. I figure I got it in the VX probably. Just shortly after I went in, I figure. Because I did get a stereo on turntable shortly after I went in. And this is another one with a bunch of their hits. Okay, Three Dog Night. It Ain't Easy. This one's from, I think this is from 1970, if I remember right, 70, 71. It's on ABC Dunhill or Dunhill Records. That has the hits like Mama Told Me Not to Come. And they do a good cover of Your Song on here. They Out in the Country's on this one. And it's a good album throughout. Okay, Three Dog Nights. This is Joy to the World, their greatest hits. Of course, that's pretty much a must-have for anybody's collection. Okay, like this, can you tell what album this is? Looking at this, the spines around the only thing that actually tells what album it is by looking at the outside of it. Well, actually, there's was a part another part that was on it, a perforated part that's not on there anymore. But if I pull something else out that was on there, pull this up closer to the album, it will tell you. Yes, it's their album Hard Labor. And of course it has the songs, Sure As I'm Sitting Here on it. Play Something Sweet, of course Brickyard Blues, and The Show Must Go On. It is, in my opinion, a real good album. I know it didn't get the greatest ratings by the critics, but with me, I thought it was a real good album. And then, last but not least, an album that I've one of the first Three Dog Night albums that I got is Harmony, which is from 1971 on Dunhill. And this one has it's an old-fashioned love song, and had never been to Spain. And they do Family of Man on here. And but it's another good album. But it's so that's all that I have for you this week. So until next week, take it easy and keep on rocking.